now that we got the console.
That we would really like them at, but when it comes down to it, I don't think you can find two stronger teams in North America right now than these two to try and take it out on Consulate here.
And I definitely think, to harken back to what you said, that this map, especially the newest iteration, favors what has historically been considered to be OXG's playstyle. Definitely a bit more ratty, definitely a bit more, especially on the defense, which they're not starting on, but once we get to the side swap, hitting those flanks, Foxay in particular, this map just being such a mess of rooms and angles and corners you have to check. That's going to favor what has historically been, either individually in the case of Foxay or collectively in the case of OXG, Reciprocity. You know, this team, this core's history, this map should favor them. But of course, they are starting on the attack, and as the bans have transpired, Ying has been left up, and that will be in OXG's hands. And no Dokkaebi either, so clearing out these rooms will be a little bit more difficult, but are OXG clearing their spawn peaks? Oh, not directly, but Gunner spotted one! Not all the way down below, but as Newers peeks his head on the rafters, the buck goes down within the first 30.
You knew it was over when Gunner had his hat backwards. No chance in hell Newers makes it through that. Nice little pick up there, and that's going to be the buck down on the board too. Practically all the soft destruction minus sledge gone here, so have to worry about that quite a bit for Fish's sake. Hopefully he can stay alive and try and assist them with clearing out some of this. Soniqs are going to be trying to handle things here on the mid floor, I do believe, first things first. So it's like a nice little transition for Oxygen as they're trying to get some control around this top four that Soniqs have built themselves upon for this extended roam game.
Even though it costs Newers, Yager does have a nice angle, looking outside through the bathroom. The one thing that has been changed about this new Consulate, if this is your first time watching it, this map used to be notorious for attackers being able to sit outside on rappel or outside windows and cutting off large swaths of the map. Not really the case here. That back angle, probably one of the only ones on this map that you can hold from the outside and cut off any meaningful rotation, but even then, it's not much. And beyond that, it gets even worse. The defense has a lot of freedom to rotate without really too much worry on this map that they might be cut off or shot.
Absolutely. It feels like it's a lot more of a stepping stone to lead into map control rather than just being the map control in and of itself. And honestly, it's a really nice change. I've really been enjoying it, and it's made for a lot of very hotly contested rounds in the the games that I have played. So it looks like we're going to be trying to stick to that. This in a competitive environment, those inside of ranked. So this is a heck of a lot different, but still showing a little bit of a similar face here, Lynx, as we are into a 3 versus 3. I don't know about you, but this is about as usual how these clears go so far, at least in my experience so far on these new consulates. A lot of window play, trying to lock down these stairwells, and trying to pressure this roam game as much as possible. Working out very well for Oxygen right now.
I think that Nomad will likely be a sticking point for some of these attacking teams, just cutting off room by room with air jabs or claymores as a secondary gadget, moving beyond the Nomad. That's what OXG just did. That's how they pushed Citizen back and ended up taking down Gunner, was just denying them room in which they could walk. Dream hopping down behind the piano with some smoke grenades and candelas. There's a C4 ready and waiting. It flies over. Dream is able to dodge it, move back into that same position, but tagged up heavily by Citizen. No secondary utility, though, for Soniqs to deny this. OXG have plenty of angles, too, to cut off these rotations inside of the bomb site. Mozzie makes it across, but once he steps to Dream, he falls very soon after. Geo basically shut down inside of Expo. Does he have an angle? Does he have a shot? Perhaps. But in a 1v3 with OXG finally making it to the end of that clear, Geo will pick up one. Now there's the player up above to deal with and one player down below as well. Secondary utility, too. No more flashes or smokes to blind him. Trying to stick that defuse, beta peek from Foxy or Yogg. The latter has rotated all the way around to catch Geo in the back. But he misses those shots. Geo will try to defuse again, but OXG, they're not playing for the kill, not playing for a gunfight, just playing for time. But Geo grants them their wish. They end the round with 9 seconds to spare.
Fantastic round from Oxygen, and I think a great display of force there as well, walking into Consulate on the offensive side for the very first time. Not only did they lose Newers, one of the star players on this roster, but they successfully convert this into a round with a very solid strategy about how to take the top floor, even, again, with that man-down position. So, as for Oxygen as of right now, right as rain, I mean, especially with that early error, the Sonics going to be kicking themselves in the butt for that one.
Folks, you aren't capable of still persevering on that roam clear, clearing out those rooms and compensating for what seemed to be, at least in theory, one of the big problems in this map, which is the lack of outside angles. They will certainly be in good spirits for the rest of their attacking half. Even if it doesn't end up working out, that's a hurdle that many have posited will be a big issue on this map that they might just be able to overcome. From the other bomb site, though, the classic on Consulate, Sam, the classic split floor bomb site. It has been ages since I have seen this in a competitive game, just because I haven't casted Consulate in a bit. But this bomb site, I will say, the upstairs relatively unchanged. But down below, there are a few more rooms and a few more walls that can provide direct access to the bomb site down in the basement.
I think the keyest thing here that we have to highlight is the new, like, essentially dirt where Rexon's playing, kind of like, it's kind of similar to Clubhouse dirt, right? It's just a one lone path, there's one reinforcement panel, and if you get this, it gets you immediate access downstairs into the back of server. There's like a whole electrical hallway that leads into this. And then the other thing that they did, Lynx, is they took that stairwell that used to be attached to admin and would go downstairs to the kitchen door. They actually pushed that through the wall and flipped it around and made it to where it leads down to server now from inside of Tellers. So you don't have immediate access to it anymore from this outside hallway. You actually have to get into the bomb site or go through the single panel on the side to get access to it. So there's a lot more changes. There's a lot more just camaraderie around this site. And honestly, I'm really excited to see how Soniqs do this, because if you remember, Lynx, you said you've been a fan of this game for some time. This was one of Soniqs' bread and butter sites when Console was in the map pool. Big Brain Super was on this one for sure.
I mean, any site where it just revolves around basically treating half of the bomb site like a retake strategy while hard holding the other one and hoping to use those C4s down below. Any good IGL worth their salt will have a good time trying to plan a defense on this one. But no super here. The Soniqs are certainly here to play, though. Might be down one round, but about half the round gone, and OXG have only entered the top floor. Start opening up some vertical to look down into Tellers, and as you can see, the strategy is decently similar to the old way of holding Tellers and Archives. Most of the players from Soniqs down below, and if they are on that middle floor, they are not in the bomb site itself. They are all the way back in Piano and Expo with mirror windows cutting off long angles, and the players down below holding C4s alongside Rexon on that pulse to give intel and give any explosive comeuppance to attackers who try to take control away from the defense. Gunner, we know the role he's going to be playing through the duration of this game. Second round in a row, he's been lurking upstairs. Second round in a row, it's yielded an opening pick.
Well, he's playing Executioner there. Now he's going to play time delay. I just sneak his way through this top floor, and if he can get any more kills, that's fantastic. But honestly, he just needs to be a thorn in their side. Try and delay this clock, try and keep Newers distracted. It's all working masterfully for them right now. This will take down Foxe as well. Oxygen dead in the water. Yes, they have some semblance of map control, but no control over this frag game. Every single angle going the way of the Soniqs, and they've got the entirety of Oxygen at the gates. They're simply putting salt in the wound now. 1 versus 5 for Newers as he's trying to find the only kill that he could potentially muster right now.
Remaining.
He hasn't been able to find too much just yet inside of this game. Does have the case still
10
over
seconds left.
inside of the main lobby area, so he's just going to drop downstairs. I don't think he's going to be existing too
5
much
seconds to go.
longer. Pop some shots, won't be able to get, oh, well, at least one, but the Vector almost catching him. It'll be Rexen that actually finishes up the job. So not a flawless round, but practically so for the Sonics.
Yeah, I would basically call that a effectively flawless round, even if it did not meet the formal requirements. Only dropping a body when it was entirely won at that point. Sonics able to bounce back once they go to the Teller's bomb site. Expo Piano not going their way. I'm interested to see if they either retry that or bounce up to the second floor bomb site, maybe to give that one a go. Again, just like Night Haven, there's a lot of theory crafting, a lot of ideas about what's going to be the site rotation, but we still need to see teams actually play it to figure out what is and what is not the primary or default bomb sites. They will move up to that second floor, though. So the introduction or the reintroduction of the Valkyrie, or at least Gunner's introduction to the Valkyrie in this particular game, dropping the Vigil that he's been lurking on so consistently. But given Valkyrie's kit, her penchant for intel, and the secondary C4 in her pocket, I wouldn't be shocked if we still find Gunner sitting in a corner for 2 minutes, waiting for his moment to throw that up at the ceiling.
Now we're into round 3 here. As you said, it's going to be the upstairs site. Sonics not electing to go to the basement just yet, Lynx, and I think that this is kind of a sign of the times. Although this is going to be our first time here in North America seeing this, anybody that's played Consulate at all more than likely has felt the key differences in how that basement site works, especially with how, you know, big of a game changer the garage is now. There's an entire section above the garage paneling that's all soft, so there's a lot of back and forth, a lot of volleying of utility over that. And it might not be something that the defense really wants to try and deal with, especially with the extension of rooms, you know, towards the back end of that site. So just a lot of ground to cover down there. It might not be something that we initially see while people are flirting around with console. I'm sure some people got some strategies in the back pocket, but this might not be something we are initially going to jump into head first. 40 seconds have expired here so far in round 3. Foxe will continue droning things around the main lobby space. Not too much going on right now as they're just looking to try and gain some access over towards yellow stairs where Yago will try and grasp a hold.
Does know about some Valcam intel around the yellow stairs, but his focus is pretty much on this middle floor right now. He said trying to grab some of these Sonics defenders stationed around the middle floor. Ooh, another Valcam. Setting info about Yago's position to defenders on the middle and the top floor. It's the latter that does him in. Third opening kill in a row now for Sonics. Only 1-1 on the conversion, though, but it seems like round 3 might be going the same way as round 2. 5v3 now, Foxe Yaga, the first 2 to fall, just like the round prior. And again, OXG struggling with very little control. Second floor bomb site, still see some repel action, Sam, but Oxygen needs something more solid if they want a chance at the 3v5.
It's been fantastic patience from the Sonics. Even the 2 death blows that they dealt to Oxygen, it was with great cadence, right? It wasn't something that was surprising. You know, Oxygen, I don't even really think got caught off guard by it either. It really, what it feels like, though, just from Oxygen's perspective, is we're kind of getting shown how difficult it is to entry onto Consulate now with the way that these window plays work. You kind of have to try and find that foothold, and if you can't do it, then you're more than likely in pretty hot water, and that's exactly what we're seeing right now. Gonna have a hop out from down low on Citizen, but it's Newers inside of a 1 versus 4. He's probably just going to ascend to the sky, and they'll try and reassess things for their offenses later on. So that's gonna be round 3 going the way of the Sonics, and fortunately enough, Lynx, that's gonna play right back into the point that I was trying to make right before all those kills immediately went down. The window play, like we touched on when we loaded into this map, it's mostly gone on Consulate, and it makes it to where you have to play more into the hand of the defense, right? You have to play more into the overall map strategy and what they've set up for you inside of this building. And for Auction, as of right now, whenever it seems like they step up to bat, they're stepping directly into a house of mirrors. They have no idea what's going on. They're kind of getting caught off guard by some of these angles from the Sonics right now. And it doesn't seem like they necessarily have an answer for that just yet.
I would definitely agree with that. Though, ironically enough, they seem to, in round 1, they did a very solid clear of that top floor, but rounds 2 and 3, I mean, definitely what you said, 2, again, effective, flawless rounds. The only kill acquired by OXG in round 2 and 3, ultimately impactless. It was acquired in a 1v5 and then turned 1v4 that Oxygen ended up losing. They do, well, perhaps get to go back or at least have another chance at attacking that first floor bomb site. Maybe we'll see Soniqs decide to go to the basement instead, since they did lose exposition back in that first round. See what they decide to set. And no, they will not go to basement. They will try this middle floor bomb site a second go around. And thankfully for Oxygen, this is a site, I should say, where the roam clear did work decently well off the back of that Nomad, and maybe they'll be wise to Gunner's tricks, just sitting in corners or peeking windows early on.
Yeah, really, I think that's why we found Oxygen finding so much success in that first round, is because they got to play into the roam clear on that top floor, right? Soniqs have to kind of play separate from each other. They might have some supporting angles to the floor and things along those lines, but somebody still has to occupy the mid floor and make sure that Oxygen can't just walk in willy-nilly. So that, at a bare minimum, make sure that you have 2 downstairs, like I said, at a bare minimum. So you have 3 upstairs, there's only so many things you can be holding crosswise. Unlike that last round where, since the site's upstairs, the majority of the body of the team is there to try and assist each other. So it might just be simply one of those man advantage type deals where the zone defense isn't exactly working for the Soniqs, and they got, you know, too many men running up there to deal with. 2-on-1, and Oxygen ends up taking them out. We'll just have to see, though. Lynx and I will make sure to stay on that and see how this clears goes this time around, and see if they are actually using that man advantage on this top floor. This is a little hard to spot last time because, you know, again, this is the first time we're here on Consulate, so some fresh ideas getting thrown around everywhere.
OXG hoping maybe they can pick up some fresh ideas in this round.
I got, so my old Consulate just made me have a heart attack right there. I was like, oh, Fish is dead. Why is he jumping in the skylight? He's gonna instantly die.
Well, I mean, again, talking about fresh stuff, that's something you can do now. You can actually live if you hop down the yellow skylight. Refreshing change of pace for anybody looking for a quick entry into the map, because it's difficult to contest that yellow skylight once you've droned out or maybe pushed an aggressive defender back. You can just hop down the skylight, land pretty safely on that second floor. But there are plenty of Soniqs defenders stationed upstairs inside a Consulate, and Yaga, man, 3rd round in a row now, not dead, but the first one to take borderline lethal damage on Oxygen, goes for the finisher. Rexon gets away with highway robbery. That's 3 opening deaths in a row now for Yaga, and 3 in a row more broadly for OXG.
That's some mechanics right there. Nice little quick lean gets him out of the situation with the frag too. So no air jabs on this top floor. But we saw this the last time. Oxygen was in the exact same position. Down a man, able to clear out the top floor. The only difference is the time links. 1 minute and 10 seconds remaining for Oxygen. They still have to try and handle what Soniqs are building up on this top floor. Yes, they do have control of the area in which they're trying to oversee, but they still have to worry about the potential of the roam working its way back in and trying to shut down this execution as it's going off.
Citizen looking for that shutdown angle, trying to retake the vertical control away from OXG. That was able to seal out that first round in large part, able to keep an attacker away from SQ's defense. Been a control they constantly had. Ooh, Boxe down, but Dream undaunted. Still going for the defuse. C4, oh, too far, despite Fish being the only man left on coverage. Might just find Citizen as well. The bomb goes down successfully. And now Fish, the only one left, the only man who didn't find himself at some point at the bomb site. And Citizen's got his exact rotation cut off. A good nade to try and force him back, but Soniqs, excellent work on the overall retake and isolating that final attacker. And eventually, well, actually, that's technically not true. I forgot Foxe was still stuck inside of Art. He, being the final attacker, finished off by SQ, and the defuse soon after will signify a 3rd defensive victory.
I think I'd rather be dead than be bleeding out and having that happen to me.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, that's just a real bummer. But I will say this for Oxygen, they definitely have a very solid strategy as how to take that site and get a plant down. And it's done with very minimal map control links. They really only have to operate around yellow. And once they get control kind of up towards, I do believe it's like the main CEO area, they're able to kind of quickly transition that into a plant. That would have been a beautiful strategy, by the way, there by Fish. It's very unfortunate that they didn't land. But overall, I'd say it's really, really solid from both of these teams. I like Oxygen's thought process, working into that site, take that top floor, get the verticality set up, try and break up some of the doorways and things with smokes and force that plant down. But Soniqs also just really, really like able to maintain competitiveness throughout that round. Keeping it neck and neck, making sure that the man advantage at least stays equal or in their favor, and also keeping that presence on the top floor was one of the key difference makers inside of round 4.
Attackers must locate and defuse
Now
the bomb.
Soniqs moving into their second attempt at Tellers and Archives, or Tellers and Server. Able to get a win off the one bomb side they up so far. Hunter's very good. He's gone back to the Vigil that he dropped on that reattempt on Expo, but now he's decided to go back and rat a little bit further inside of admin. We did see OXG try to clear from the admin side over on the previous Tellers Archives attack, and well, that was the first time Yaga suffered an opening death out of 3 in this matchup so far. OXG don't seem to be changing things up all that much. They opened up this kind of back electrical single wall early on and then moved upstairs to begin their clear of the top floor. It seems that they'll be retreading that ground at least for the first minute.
Scanning.
Bomb located.
Oh, dream.
Maybe not.
Able to work his way through. Through the Valkyrie camera. And although might not have had somebody on that cam, couldn't exactly tell. We'll definitely know that somebody is here due to the lack of the camera being there in the first place. If they didn't know then, well, they definitely know now, don't they, Lynx? As the secondary heart breach will get slammed down from Dream. I'm going to try and clear out the back end of the server here with viewers, at least electronic-wise. Won't exactly know what's going on personnel-wise when it comes to Soniqs members. We'll have that angle to worry about down low, though, but it's really what Auction wants to try and build upon with this. Looks like a couple drop in the back end. Maybe potentially a basement plant as Foxy has found himself inside a blue hallway.
Oh, he's made his way in, but not found a kill on Grixer. Gunner, the first to fall, though. OXG's first opening kill this matchup, and it comes with a man advantage now. Wide and even, thanks to Newers finding Rexen. Grixer, of course, alone on the site. 1 HP now dead. Gio's got to rotate back with much of the work by OXG already done, signed, sealed, and delivered. Almost a nice spray, but Fish is able to clean that one up pretty quickly. OXG, a very nice read. The vacant bottom floor bomb site, and they move in and end the round pretty soon after.
I mean, pretty vacant. They did have an echo there, but he was kind of forcefully removed. I think that's the best way to put
evicted.
that.
He was evicted from the server bomb site, and then the Thorn was left wondering what the hell to do.
You have 15 seconds to gather your things and leave the property, otherwise we will be assaulting. It's just so quick there from Auction. And I know we talked a little bit about how their strategy for the mid-floor site required very minimal map control. Well, this is the exact same situation, Carter. They get right down into what we're calling pseudo dirt. It's that electrical hallway, right? And then they only really go inside of the lobby to drop down the hatch to get the ulterior hallway downstairs and have that nice little hammer and anvil effect, right? You have those two angles working in tandem. Kind of difficult for the defenders to fight both of those off at the same time. But with that being said, recognize how little area Oxygen actually had to occupy to get that. They basically had to do nothing. They had to pop a hatch and pop a single panel that had no control from Soniqs over it at all. There really wasn't anything they could do about it. I mean, what are you going to do? Dedicate an electric claw to it so they can secondary EMP it? There's really no rhyme or reason to doing that, right? So it's just really difficult for Soniqs at the end of the day, unless they're capable of having that big of foresight to try and shut down an all-out assault from Auction on that end of the map. I don't really see how they work things out unless they're really capable of controlling that outside hallway we saw Fox drop into.
Soniqs, unfortunately, maybe if they were able to repeat their previous victories, might have had a 5-1 half in hand, but now a 4-2 is what they are gunning for, and OXG looking to keep it even into the side swap, make that a 3-3, and we do have our first play of the basement bomb site to end this half. Very good to see already. Had to fact check myself real quick. Yes, all 4 bomb sites. I'm still used. I literally had old cons that creep in my brain like, oh, we didn't see lobby. And I'm like, lobby's not a bomb site anymore.
Oh, thank God.
What, you don't like all 5 attackers sitting outside a front door with 8,000 smokes and 3 frag grenades?
It's like the worst snowball fight that I've ever seen in my life, Lynx.
It was not, listen, even when I was a fan, I was like, can we just fast forward this one?
Anytime we launched Consulate and I knew that John and I were going to be casting like 3 rounds of lobby defense, I had to mentally prepare myself. Especially after, it was like, put the liquor in the freezer, like... Oh, man, that's probably what Grixer's thinking after that pick, too. He was trying to get out ahead of Oxygen here, trying to make sure that they can't quickly dispatch Soniqs, but my God, man.
Okay.
They have their foot on their neck, putting them right in the dirt. Soniqs, it's up to Citizen and Rexen, two of the most high-flying players on this entire team, but how high-flying can you be? The trapeze is falling apart. It's down to Rexen to try and pick up the pieces of said trapeze. Maybe he's still got a second act for us, but it's going to be difficult to try and assemble.
Yeah, I don't, listen, Rexen, great player, great guy. Don't think he's winning this one, unfortunately. OXG, now with the bomb down, have set a timer on Rex's continued existence in round 6. Could very well find one kill on the top floor. Gridlock, indeed, caught lacking. So Yaga not having, unfortunately, he's not been having the best game, but honestly, he's gotten really unlucky in some situations. Not even his fault entirely. Might find another. Oh, little jiggle peek. There we go. Down goes Fish. This is the point where now we have to give a little bit of respect to Rexen. All right, you've only got less than 10 seconds, but you got 2 kills out of 4. Maybe there's a snowball's chance in hell you could pull this one out. Well, the answer was no. Good try.
Yeah. Not even enough ice left to chill my drink, man. Nothing really there. So unfortunate for him, but Oxygen, again, just bullheadish. It seems like the 3 offensive rounds that they were able to muster, actually, we'll just say 2. The 2 last offensive rounds that they were able to garner were very bullheadish. The first one, I would say a little bit more calculated, especially with the top clear. Soniqs maybe playing a little bit too heavy into the initial gunfights. That might have got him into a little bit of trouble with that first round, but I digress. Past that, pretty neck and neck. Really love some of the ideas we saw coming out of the defensive strategy of Soniqs, but the clears from Oxygen have definitely got to be the highlight of this half for me.
Definitely fell off between rounds 2 to 4, but 5 and 6, and then round 1 to start. Actually, definitely put up some solid, not even necessarily full clears of the map, but just clears in. They had a very good idea at what parts of the map they needed to secure to make their executes work. The only part that might break away a little bit from that is round 6, because that's seeming to be built in no small part off of Fish just finding an opening in the defensive.
Oxygen is going to be doing on this defensive end, especially for Fox's sake. Now, the key thing is that we talked about his Pulse play on this map. You can see Pulse is actually in Dream's hands here. And whenever we do get on Consulate, even when Oxygen isn't involved, or, you know, any of your usual Pulse players are involved, you're gonna see Pulse played, folks. This is just one of those maps where he is just too capable of covering a large swath of the map because of how these floors interact with each other. If you're all the way downstairs, Lynx, you can see somebody walking around on the top floor as long as you're in the room directly below them, which to this day is still one of the most mind-boggling things when it comes to design, because, I mean, just think about it. You and your friends are all the way upstairs. Pulse can be sprinting around downstairs. You can't even hear him. But if he gets out that cardiac sensor, he knows where you are. It is truly one of the just like the biggest mind, you know, numbing things about console that you always have to have in the back of your head. You might think that you're safe, but just a moment later, you'll have a nitro cell under you and you're dead.
Well, actually, speaking of, or at least not necessarily nitro cells, but tools that commonly aid them, Citizen was able to pick up a Valkyrie camera and hack it with a clutch run early on in the round. We'll see if that either yields anything for the attack specifically, or if it just denies a useful bit of intel for OXG. Too early to tell, but definitely a good find to start. Soniqs already showing a little bit of a difference from the OXG clear, at least right now, being stationed outside of the projector balcony. Already opening up a hole in the wall and contemplating throwing some Candelas through. He pulls out the hard reach, pulls out the Candela, pulls out every gadget he has before deciding to throw that Candela. There's not much follow-up. Maybe trying to force a rotation inside of that room. but hasn't found anything just yet. Gunner is right outside, cooking a nade. Oh, but just barely hit on a timing. Thankfully, Foxay doesn't fire any shots. He's repeatedly blinded by Geo outside on that balcony, but we've yet to see a follow-up from the Soniqs. They're trying their best to find this control and finally find a pick as Yaga suffers his 4th opening death of the match. And Gunner might just find his 2nd kill, but he's caught on ADS.
Foxay will get the first one. Right back in behind one of these steel barriers here. Trying to keep himself alive! What a cover from Newers! This will be making sure to head off the top of the stairwell for Foxay on his fallback. At least keep this into the 3 versus 3. Keep us competitive throughout round 7. Newers trying to keep up at bat. If there's anybody trying to work their way up yellow, not just yet. And also fortunate enough for Auction, Dream is still alive, so they can still keep a bead on some of these offenders. But it's going to be Auction to actually take down that exact member. Dream gone, no more pulse. Only the 2 versus 3.
Geo got that 2 players to cover the diffuser, but Foxay and Newers have started retaking the top floor, but have found no one home upstairs. It's all completely empty, broadly speaking. Maybe a drone, maybe a bit of utility. OXG do have those vertical angles, but I think they were hoping to find a gunfight on that top floor. Nobody bites, but somebody is home down below. That was the man with the diffuser. Now Geo fallen 2v2, but this is still favoring the Soniqs. Plenty of time to reposition. Their position's actually already found. The repositioning's done, but the angles, there's still plenty to be found for Foxay. Maybe one more kill now that Newers has fallen. Make this an effective 1v3. Info on Rexon's position. The Ash gotta back up, gotta fall back, and simply not enough time to reward Foxay's huge individual effort in round 7. That'll be a cleanup. Wait, what? He defused it! You gotta be kidding me! I thought that was a wrap-up! I'm just as confused as you, Fox. Like, I'm checking the time. You gotta be kidding me, man. Bro, are we doing this already on the first play of Consulate?
Oh, no. Oh, no. Yeah, the supporting staff for Soniqs is not happy about that one. Not in the slightest.
Hey, Super, how you feeling right now?
Yeah. Is Super co-streaming today? Hey, Super, how you feeling right now?
It's every day.
Poor guy, man. Poor guy. Poor everybody on the Soniqs, dude. You got to feel for him right there. That is a tilter, Lynx.
I thought
that
they
is
won.
A tilter and a half. No, dude. I was in the same boat as you because we obviously this is our first time, casting Consulate in its new form, and its new iteration. As soon as he came around that like unfoldable whatever, I was like, dude, he's totally got it. He's right here. And then it was a solid wall, and I was like, oh, he doesn't have it.
He, in fact, does not have that one, unfortunately.
Wait, let him cook. Does he know? He doesn't.
Well,
he doesn't know.
Didn't.
See? He thought the same thing. Look, he looked at the case through the wall. It's
That's
just
actually
so unfortunate, man.
I
Everybody, we were all on the same page, funny enough. We all thought that he was planning on that side of the wall. Hilarious.
That's so funny that Rexon also thought he planted behind that panel. I was like, oh, he's got this kill, no problem. I was like, oh, that's unfortunate. He does not. Well, OXG able to get a solid win on Lobby and Exposition. Thanks to Big 3K and Defuse from Foxay. They will now go similar to SQ's site rotation with their second bomb site being Tellers. They will have the Pulse again. This time, though, Sam, this time, it's not Dreams. It is Foxay.
Man.
Your man.
The man, the myth, the legend, the boy. Davide Bucci, also known as Foxay. Not nearly as bald as Pulse, but pretty damn good with that cardiac sensor, just like him. Gonna be using that to its fullest ability. He's gonna be starting off on the server side. This is very usual, even on the old Consulate. Kind of follow the entire push across, as we're so used to, Lynx. Usually everyone's starting things off on the administration side of the building, right? They want to try and push everything slowly across, clear out the top floor. We usually see some good info ops with this, things like Yana here with Gunner, or other things that we see thrown in like Jackal or what have you, things like Dokkaebi, try and help you out on those longer extended clears. Now we won't have some of that utility that I did mention, but Soniqs are obviously more than capable of clearing out the map without that. This is a professional squad. And on top of that, they do also have Yana, which is, to this day, one of the best info ops in the game, not only because of her fragging capabilities, but because practically her drone is an infinite, or rather her clone is an infinite drone, if used properly. So, be sick at the end of the day for them. They're going to continue clearing out this building. Auction really haven't shown any teeth, but they've been more like a ghost. You know they're there, but they're just not showing face.
A lot of utility setup for Oxygen right now, but no defender aggressively taking fights. Gunner keeps trying to nade this position, but no one from Oxygen, excuse me, sitting close on that door frame. Nobody biting. He's worked his way all the way up to the door of the bomb site, or the window, technically, with Kiva barriers blocking his way now. SQ struggling for an entrance in. Oh, there we go. Might have just found something. Fish fall in. Ooh, another one spotted by Grixer. Foxay trying to get aggressive on that hatch, and that's the pulse, too. No more intel for those C4s. Dream, though, he's playing with the shotgun close. It does bear some fruit with the SMG-11. Advantage still held by the Soniqs. Dream retaking up the Visa hallway. There's one attacker inside. Grixer now fallen on the floor. SQ might be running for trouble at this point. Finished off, and Oxygen have fully retaken the middle floor. Can SQ get in a position down below to put this bomb down? Dream will use that C4. Won't find anything, but it will create a vertical angle. But nothing to see any of those SQ attackers. There we go with the shotgun. A makeover on the middle floor. He's able to get a quad kill and put the diffuser down on the floor. And Citizen likely not winning this one at this point. Dream is in a good position to drop. Newers to hold up above. There we go! Ace from Dream. 5-3 now for Oxygen. The hard support doing everything he can to give OXG their second.
Did you hear my dream claps in the background? I hope you did.
Shout out to the old Mirage Dream clip.
Indeed. The timeout immediately procced from the Soniqs and making a heck of a lot of sense. I mean, Dream, the fixer right there, practically Bob the Builder. He definitely could fix it, Lynx, because they needed him in that moment more than anything. The only man capable of putting down any Soniqs member, and it all just so happens to be a big burly man with a pretty happy demeanor and smile. So looks like he'll be able to take it to the Soniqs, force that timeout out of them, put not only them on the back foot, but also Oxygen on the warpath to victory here the very first time on the new iteration of Consulate.
Also a bit of a rough trend for the Soniqs so far. They've gotten the opening pick at the vast majority of these rounds, but converting them into round wins has been their big issue. And that, more than anything, so far has been emblematic of, again, we've harkened back to it a few times in the desk, on the cast, but those mid to late rounds, when you are getting the opening pick in all but, I think, 1, 2, maybe 3 rounds so far for the Soniqs out of the 8 played so far, and you've only been able to convert 3 of them out of those 8, it's very, very telling that keeping steady, keeping calm, and closing out the rounds you should be winning is a big problem right here. I mean, in round 7, I mean, to be fair, Rexon maybe waited just a little bit too long, but that was a huge individual play from Foxay. We can't necessarily blame that on a poor conversion from SQ. But in that round, we saw a lot of Gunner sitting outside of Tellers. Saw a lot of Grixer sitting outside of Tellers. And did they get the kills? Yes, they did, but took a long time to get very little control.
And, you know, unfortunately enough, when it comes to, you know, Sonic, or rather some of the control that we saw inside of that last round too, just wasn't really there for that mid floor. See if they can try and fix things up on their next potential push here. They'll be trying to attack the top floor. This is something we saw Soniqs trying to deal with on their previous offensive set, and didn't exactly have the easiest of times, as Soniqs were able to take it to them decently early on in the round and make it to where their clear wasn't exactly the greatest. We eventually saw them try and bully their way in towards the single panel for CEO, but even that did not bear any fruit, as the Amaru swung through, immediately died with case in hand. For Soniqs, they're not even going to have that part of the strategy inside of their operator lineup, so we don't have to worry about them flying in through anything and losing the case immediately off the back of that. But as for now, they're most definitely going to need to take this round. Oxygen right on the doorstep, the penultimate point, which would make it to where Soniqs are not capable of making a mistake. And, well, for Gunner, he's actually going to take those words right out of my mouth, as that is going to be the biggest mistake in that lineup that you could potentially make, as they're going to lose Lion.
It's a fitting time to reiterate that OXG just need 1 point out of today's matchup to confirm themselves for the deciders, which is you just need to be top 6. So that doesn't mean they'll get 3rd, doesn't mean they'll get 4th, but it does mean that they cannot drop below 6th. If they just get 1 more point, and in this case, 1 more round. Foxay has started that off beautifully with a kill onto Gunner. Now it's on SQ, as you said, to try and play perfectly up until this point to fight back in regulation, to secure their own position, but deny OXG theirs. Gunner now taken down, of course. You lose those EE1Ds, but the rest of Soniqs, they've been denied a lot of their positioning. Geo being shut down alongside Citizen on these yellow stairs. OXG know that the Soniqs are trying to push for control down below this yellow skylight and on this part of the map. Dream is also being very stingy with these toxic canisters. He knows they're there, but isn't getting too aggressive. Now as they peek, Geo will try to take the fight and do so successfully. Fish cut down and advantage equalized, but there's that second follow-up on the toxic canister. It might cost Fish and their advantage, but Dream knows how powerful those 10 seconds can be when the clock is low.
Absolutely. You can see Fox, I do believe he's just getting his last goo mine too, and he's going to apply that to the situation. So much utility surrounding Soniqs. Now, do remember, if one of those goo mines does get in their foot, they can't plant either. They will end up losing Foxy, but in a 3 versus 4 with minimal time, it practically doesn't matter. Dream's going to go down too. They just need to make sure to cover these crosses. There's a lot of potential here for the defense, but the offense is starting to fight back and in a major way. After downing Dream, Yaga's going to get quite a bit of damage dealt to him. Newers will go down. They might just look for the kill here. Honestly, Lynx, he'll be able to at least get one. Geo's trying to confirm the plant. Rexon on the oversight. Yaga not able to find the kill just yet. He's going to try and wait patiently in behind the long table, and Projector won't be able to really find too much. Soniqs not giving up the goods, and in fact, it seems like this round will be exactly what we needed out of them. The ability to stay alive. Yaga's going to work his way in. He's found the case, but this has made it to where it's practically impossible. Somebody's already on rappel. They're going to throw flashes in. Gio's going to play this more than likely perfectly. He's a veteran of the game, and that's a veteran kind of play style right there on that window rappel.
That's about, I think, as close to old consulate we're going to see that play. Just sitting outside the CEO rappel, flashes prepped to just stop them from defusing the case. That's pretty much old consulate right there, but there's not much left. But SQ will win it in that fashion. Now 5-4. OXG do not have the 1 point they are looking for just yet. But again, even if they end up losing this 8-6, as long as they get 6 rounds, they will secure playoffs for themselves, secure that top 6 position. So they can afford to make a couple mistakes, but once we get to the 5-5 territory, then we need to start buckling down. They will, of course, go back in their site rotation now. Piano has opened up, and this was the site, Sam, of that crazy individual play from Foxy, and unfortunately, Rexon too far away from the diffuser. So maybe if we see something a bit more convincing in the early round from OXG, a bit more time wasting, Foxy won't need to take the round in his own hands by the end.
Yeah, hopefully for Sonic's sake, that's hopefully not the case. But as for Oxygen, though, I mean, a couple of things that they might be able to look back on and try and add up just to make sure that the Soniqs aren't capable of running their way into the site the same way we saw the last time. But as we touched on with the Oxygen offense when it came to this site doesn't seem like it requires all that much heavy lifting when it comes to map control. So maybe we see just more of a low control execute from the Soniqs while they try and hold on to yellow stairs, potentially just wait some rotations out from Oxygen, some kills off the back of that. I think that really the world is their oyster for how they want to try and address this.
Plenty of different options to apply to the situation. Of course, there is always, especially for Soniqs on this clear, always obstacles you need to worry about. Those C4s in particular on that second floor. Maybe Oxygen will start channeling some of Gunner's energy to start, just lurking around the map, hiding in corners. Plenty to worry about. No Ying from Geo, though, this go around. But still an admin clear for the Soniqs. Shouldn't be too surprised there. This is where we need to see that progress. Gunner taking that same position, but on Keller's Archives, this is where he started to get stuck, about this same spot. He had a lot more success on this top floor, but Foxy is now more than aware about Gunner's position, and I imagine the defense more broadly are as well. The Gunner likes to play, or has played this hallway previously. Will he take the gunfight accordingly? Gunner also waiting for it. Foxy will be walking into his crosshairs, but he backs off and plays the safer option.
And you're more than likely going to be seeing a lot of that, especially early in these rounds right now, just due to the situation we have at hand, right? Both of these teams do not want to be the one to give up a kill, and therefore they are playing these angles as tightly as possible. Bullet sliding past the ear of Citizen there. Both of these squads respectfully breathing down each other's necks. See if we can actually land the first death blow here. Citizen looking for it. Has some oversight from Rexon. I'll take down Foxy, who was trying to get aggressive right outside from the room from Projector. Citizen will work his way down to the far end of the hallway. Still has his eyes dead set on the back of the secretary office. Trickster, the nice find here too, but oh my, Yaga will be able to take out at least one, but not before Gunner rights the ship, takes him out on Spiral, has some control over the site as well, and the plant now starting Nitro Cell out, and that's gonna at least stop it for now. 30 seconds remain with the case on the floor.
Oh! Gunner just exposed himself a little bit to the angle down below, but in the process, Citizen lost. Oh, Gunner's teammate as well. Rexon unfortunately cut down to the floor. Oxygen get the round 6 they needed. Deciders now locked in, win or lose. At this point, it's all just for the round differential and seeding. But Soniqs still have a chance as well. If they can seal this out in overtime, they could also qualify for the deciders as well. So it's not done for SQ, but OXG, at this point, all they need to do is play.
Gonna be a very happy Boston office there for Oxygen, as you can even see it on Fox's face. The game isn't over right now, but you can just tell by his demeanor the weight that is off his shoulders. We've made it. We don't have to sweat this anymore. We can just focus on our craft and focus on getting better at Siege before this next big event. Definitely going to be something that they're very happy about. Obviously, they're still going to remain hungry. They're trying to win these games, but just one thing off the back of your back that you don't have to be worried about. But as for that round, the key difference maker there being Lynx, that last little bit of layer of defense downstairs that gets the case on the ground.
Oxygen, dude, if they keep the ability just to have somebody down below with C4s, like we saw that pulse last round that you were just talking about, that's going to be a constant problem for SQ. But attacking teams in general, if this map really does take as long to clear, that sometimes we're seeing SQ take, that we saw OXG take a little bit as well before they really started honing the amount of map control that they needed, not going for these big, broad, full, or even half clears of the map, just taking a small subset of rooms that allow them to go for a direct take. A C4 from below, when you are going for a very time-consuming clear, that's going to be a big problem, and so far has been a big issue for SQ on this attacking side. Foxe bringing that pulse again. Actually trying to shoot those Selma charges on the outside and gets one, but not the other. So Foxe won't be able to play for free on this single panel any longer.
A little delay there. But fortunately enough, I'm more than likely be able to stick around the area and just get rid of some drones or really anything. Oh. Looking like Swiss cheese right now, Soniqs. Good news is that we got Citizen, so he can at least fix it. We do have the remedy, but when's he gonna get over there? Anytime I ever ordered a welder to a job site, it would always take them centuries. So I expect Citizen to have right around the exact same response time, and he might even die before he gets there, unless they don't even want to access that. That's really up to them, but definitely not the best breach if you are trying to get your way inside of that electrical hallway. Citizen's going to occupy the outside space of yellow right now, and does have one at home right inside the door, but we'll have to see if he even tries to don that. It's going to be Gunner that strikes first, and he'll take down Fish on the top floor.
Good pick to find that a zombie, but a lot of the Kibas already generated. Oh, Yaga might find someone outside the yellow door, just going for the quick peeks, the style points in round 11, but neither decide to fully commit to that gunfight. Oxygen know the strength of their take right now, or the strength of their defense. They have the pulse still. They have somebody playing close with a shotgun Dream to deny those electrical stairs. I think he's pushing for more, actually. Indeed, he is. Holding the bottom as long as he can, but Candela's force his hand, force him back. And actually, he didn't even retreat. I think he got stuck in the corner, maybe, because he was blind. Either way, Dream taken down. Soniqs have a full breach opened up into this bomb site. Foxe made quick work of on the rotate hole, and the round follows soon after. 6-5 now. Again, if Soniqs make it to overtime and then win 8-6 or 8-7, they can also secure playoffs. So this round, very important to secure.
This has nothing to do with the round at all, but every time that we go to Citizen's camera, it just makes my skin crawl that he still has all of the plastic wrap on his headset. I have like a sensory issue with that kind of stuff. I cannot do it, man. I cannot do it. If I go over to somebody's house and they still have like the plastic wrap on their TV, I'm like, can I take that off? Can I please just remove that for you?
Actually, I have a, so quick
Look
aside.
at it! Look at it! Oh!
That is a little, okay, that is kind of weird.
Now you can't unsee it. Suffer with me.
I actually can't. It's not great. I have a thing where if I go to somebody's house, I'm such a loser, man. I can't even lie. If I see someone's TV has like the soap opera effect on, where it's like it smooths the frame rate to like 30 FPS, I literally have to ask them if I can turn it off. And it's such a problem because I'll be at like the dentist or the doctor's and I'll see the waiting room TV has got it on, and I know I can't ask, but I'm like, I can't watch NCIS like this, man. Like we gotta have standards here. Anyway, round 12 now. OXG wait the full distance to take their timeout, but again, they're not really losing much by saving it or not taking it, or I guess saving it or taking it. As I said, the same thing originally. They'll go down to basement as our final bomb site of the half. Again, mirroring Soniqs. I am praying we actually see Gunner stick that Grim, but with attacker repick, you'll probably switch it off at about 4 seconds left. And
Not
there we
even.
go.
Honestly?
Not even. Ram, though, I'll take it.
Really? Yeah, I'm down. I'm really down. I feel like Consulate might be Ram's map, low-key. Like that and Chalet. Pretty solid. Lots of soft destruction everywhere. You toss the boogie drone down, you go somewhere else, activate it whenever you want everybody to be annoyed. Pretty sick.
I get a lot of joy out of the fact that they named her gadget Boogie. Makes me very happy. It's just like, I just get...
That was a layup for us casters. I know it was.
It's just like, I just feel like this level of jubilance that I haven't before when talking about a gadget. Like Kiba Barrier, Mozzie Pest, Black Mirror. It's like, whatever. Boogie? Let's go. Makes me very happy. We'll have to see if Gunner actually uses it to great effect in this round. I agree with your assessment that definitely at least the basement bomb site on Consulate is a great map for Ram. Probably the first floor bomb site and getting some soft destruction in second floor probably very good as well for those boogies. But I mean, there's a lot of soft floors in this map, and whether you got an auto breacher or a C4 in the case of OXG, who have 3 in the back pocket, 1 placed on the bottom floor of admin, there's plenty of good uses for teams or players with good map knowledge and good instincts when it comes to vertical destruction.
Yeah, the best thing about the auto breacher with the common day of Rainbow Six Siege, with how important verticality is and the years of building that up with all of the soft breach operators that we have, is that you finally have an operator where you don't have to be the one that gets blown up by a nitro cell or gets impacted 42 times or whatever whatever happens to you when you are playing up there. So it's really nice because you can also, not only that, also occupy the angle as soon as it opens, and you're pretty self-sufficient, so it's pretty cool.
Love the secondary shotgun to increase that self-sufficiency. But still hoping to see a little bit more from the Soniqs so far. Half the round in, we are finally seeing some of that vertical destruction come through. The auto breacher, I think I timed it, last 10 seconds entirely. And look at that, right as it needs to, right at the door frame, it stops. So we'll see if Gunner's able to make good use of those vertical angles. This is very different from how OXG took this site, by the way. They went down through the electrical single panel, through servers on the backside, and created a hole in the defense's back line where it's very front-sided for the Soniqs, focused on that top floor. Now Gunner moving down yellow to start applying some pressure to these defenders, in pillar inside a cafe, and it's taking a lot more time than it took OXG's clear to get started.
That just means there's a lot of fun to be had.
Maybe.
And by fun, I mean pure and utter chaos. As we are down to the last round of regulation. Only 30 seconds remain. It's a 5 versus 5. This is where things potentially build up to the funnest moments in Siege or potentially the worst moments in Siege. It just really matters as to what side of the stick you're on. He's going to start the plan off. Rexon's going to light this powder keg, and let's get into it, baby. Dream's going to die. They're going to be able to confirm this plant. Soniqs, can you send us to overtime? It's looking like it, especially after a triple kill out of Rexon. They're going to knock it down to Newers and Lynx. I'm just going to say it here first. This is going to be an OT round that we're going to be looking at. Even though he's going to be able to pick up that first kill and the second, I'm still going to be a doubter. I'm sorry, Newers. You can prove me wrong. Feel free to. But, I mean, there's just so much for you to do, my friend. No doubt against your skill, but just a lot of doubt against the setup.
So, overtime will indeed be in the cards. No SSG, thankfully, so maybe this has a chance at ending before round 15. Then again, SQ also do have their fair share of full max OT games that they have played so far inside of the stage. So that doesn't mean it's not out. So now, both teams have secured at least 1 point. OXG in the same position as before, but now Soniqs are officially in the running once again to secure their decider's spot today. What side are they starting on? I can hear you questioning. I can hear you wondering. I can't hear you. I'm in your walls, by the way. Just so you know.
He
But
is under
Soniqs,
your
they
skin.
get-
He is under your
I do,
skin.
yeah.
He is under your skin. He is under
They
your...
are. I was literally... Well, now it looks like I was waiting for the thing to show up. They were on attack in overtime. Literally...
You didn't have it in your notes. You're lying to us, aren't you?
I actually... I have the... I had my windows open, but the sun is now set. I was holding my notebook up to my monitor to try and read it. That's why it took so long. I actually, hold on. I gotta turn on the light real quick.
You're casting by candlelight right now?
I do need to turn the light on real quick. I cannot read a single thing in my notebook.
5
Give me a
seconds
second.
remaining.
Listen, man,
Attackers
it's getting dark in
locate a
Indiana.
bomb and defuse it.
Oh, Lynx, you can't say stuff around me like that, man. I'm too goofy of a guy. I can't be serious with that kind of stuff. I can't do it. I can't. It's impossible for me. I have a medical condition.
Bomb located by attackers.
You're medically diagnosed as goofy?
Yes.
Device converted.
Goofy in the veins, goofy on the
Did they
brain.
prescribe something for that?
You don't want to know.
Well, either way, side is Expo, and as I mentioned earlier, SQ starting with the attack. We've got Geo bringing back that Ying. I have to imagine SQ will be trying to bring back some success on that top floor clear. Not necessarily starting on the admin side this time, is it? You know, now that I say it, maybe they're going a little bit more direct and focusing more on clearing out CEO as Rexon moves over to bathroom.
Game's spinning up as we would expect. Bricks will be able to run a rough shot over the majority of the site as of now, seeing if there's any other utility that he can steal, and he'll be 2 for 2. And take this Valkyrie camera. He's just waiting for things to kind of load up, and there you go. Able to take that away from the defense too. And now Soniqs have been able to at least start building things up for this portion of the site to be a nice home for their case.
Well, especially a big Valk cam to stop OXG from having any intel on the planetary. Notably, they had a pulse to look down below before, and that's how they got the C4 onto Geo. But now they were relying on that Valk cam, instead relying on the Valkyrie to open things up. Gunner around the yellow stairs, cut down by Foxay's MPX. SQ's direct take now a little bit in jeopardy, as they lack a solid man advantage. Rexon retaking that same position, but Oxygen, recognizing their lead, are not looking to get aggressive. They know they have CEO. They know the onus is on SQ to push them out. If they can take 20 more seconds, that's a third of the time SQ have to play with. Nade caught by an ADS, but Rexon still has one more. Foxay looking to make that swing, not looking to get the kill though. Citizen's able to equalize. Now Geo drops down with the diffuser. Fish goes for the peek, first shotgun shot misses. That scares the SQ attacker back down the stairway. But Fish still has full control of the top floor. This bit of the map denied to the Soniqs as they move in for their execute. Grixer now does gain the advantage, but Fish is still up above. Still has these vertical holes to play off of. No Valcam in sight, maybe. But depending on where Geo plants or where Citizen plays, they are in jeopardy of losing their head from a vertical angle. They'll push further in. Intel on the player sitting inside of Exposition. Now this part of the bomb site cleared out. They can move in and start going for the plant. Rexon spots another. 4v1. Fish has got to creep down. Got to get this kill. Ooh, smoked off the angle. But the trades are clean. Match point for SQ. 1 round away from securing the decider.
A bare knuckle, vicious clear from the Soniqs. Oxygen cannot even hold a candle to this, as every single angle they try and pick up, the door is completely shut in their face. The only kill that they were able to muster that entire time was poor Fish trying to rotate his way down yellow and assist with the site control. It's immediately swept under the rug from Citizen, and the Soniqs will recapture the lead here again.
Get to go to those defenses too, which I imagine they are happy about. Fervent conversations in the Soniqs paddocks at the moment. We saw Exposition brought out by Oxygen. Will Soniqs decide to give us the same, a little bit of a repeat action? Will they decide to go somewhere else? Probably not basement, as both teams went to that as a bomb site of last resort on the end of their respective halves. Whereas Exposition, CEO, a lot of these other positions have gained a lot more play. Maybe Teller's Archives in the fold too. Either way, they do need to be on the lookout for these direct takes from Oxygen. The ability to isolate a small amount of map control, but convert that into a huge round victory. That was Oxygen's strength. As the attacking half went on, that's something that no matter where they go, SQ need to worry about.
attackers
All I got to
must
worry
locate
about
and
now
defuse a bomb.
is fingers crossed for us Q fans at home. This potential last round. They do have defense. They've looked quite solid. It's going to be the top floor. Now it's up to Oxygen to try and elongate this overtime and give Link and I our second or third max OT that we've casted throughout this stage. So
Let me find out real quick.
August online.
yeah, I do believe it's 3, but I'd like my Liquipedia brain tested, please, to see if I was right about that. But past that, Oxygen, they're kind of going back to what we'd seen previously on some maps that kind of worked like this, previous Consulate, you know, Chalet with some of the strategy that pops out there for them, especially with this Zero coming into play. I think this is fantastic for a map like Consulate, get some extra vision around. It's kind of like a pseudo Valkyrie in a way. He's also got a great gun with secondary hard breach and a Gon 6 too, so just so much value in this character. And to this day, I still think that Oxygen are one of the best teams in the world when it comes to Zero, because I mean, you do see him, you know, sprinkled throughout a lot of teams nowadays, but still not a hallmark like what we've seen with this squad throughout the history of Siege.
This would, by the way, this would,
Located by
if this goes
attackers.
to round 15, this would be you and I's 4th max OT
Whoa.
game of the stage. Yeah, I know. Very long set of matches you and I have casted. Though I think Parker and Nick still beat us in the aggregate. They've had a lot of 7-5s and 8-6s, not necessarily 8-7s. Fish, he's worked himself into a very clean position on this. No, spots an opportunity, but Geo just able to shield himself around the corner. Rexon 2 shuts down what could have been the round-ending play from Oxygen, recapturing some of that basement energy all the way back in round 6. Fish looking to open up the back line, now shut down by the Azami, and Oxygen need to take a pause.
How long can you pause for? He knows someone's in the area, but Yogg, that's 2 huge, crucial misses out of Oxygen on a round that they must capture to keep this game going. Fish with a blunder, as well as Yogg, neither one of them striking true. And now it's allowed Soniqs to maintain not only the man advantage, but bleed this clock out dry. They'll finally lose somebody. Geo's going to swing into the hallway. He'll take down 1. And for all of this effort, Oxygen have been able to get a singular kill off onto Rexon. They've been boxed out of the site as of now. They'll at least be able to get one of the panels at the back of projector dealt with, but Oxygen looked dead in the water in this 2 versus 4.
Dream trying his best to use these flashes, gain any bit of momentum. SQ throwing out some secondary utility in turn, but given how close quarters these fights are going to be, Geo's shotgun is probably going to be the death knell for Oxygen's chances at closing this out on a dub. Might not matter much for deciding their playoff chances, but might decide the seeding depending on what happens. There we go. Citizen and Grixer finish it off. No participation trophy needed to get the best of both worlds. Both teams well on their way to making